What's up, YouTube? Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube with a video that many have been requesting for so long. What is the difference between a first edition, first print run Blue Eyes White Dragon card and a first edition, second print run LOB card? So, again, if you haven't seen me before, check out my Instagram at Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, eBay, Tim's Cards and Games, and of course my Patreon down below. I'd really appreciate if this video helps you, for you to contribute, even if it's $1, that's $1 more going toward a camera fund for this YouTube channel, because it seems to go out quite too often, the Flash does. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go into the heritage between the two. Well, let's see. This one looks like a first print run. Why? Because the first print run, look at the first edition print here. Very small text. Look at the first edition print here. Much larger text. As you could see here, the N in the first edition kind of are correlated. The N in the first edition nowhere near. It looks like first edition. It's kind of on its own little island here, so to say. This is a first print run box. This is the one with the cream of the crop, where you have those wavy textured cards, the ones everyone wants, the first edition, first print run released. This box, second print run. As you can see, much larger text. If you want to rewind back into this video, or into this box, you can. It's much more correlated here, a little bit above the N, and it's a much bigger text. Now, let's just go into a little bit the heritage between the two, why this really happened. Well, first of all, Konami Upper Deck, they said, well, you know what? Let's produce the first edition Legend of Blue Eyes. They release it in the United States of America. They do just that. It sells extremely well, possibly a little bit too well, and all of a sudden, Upper Deck and Konami are saying, whoa, this sold way too quickly. This sold out like hotcakes. We got to produce a little more of these first edition boxes. So that they did. They produced more first edition this time, as you could see the little difference, and this was released in the United States, but also in other countries as well. It may have been in Canada, may have been in Mexico, I'm not 100% sure of that, and maybe a little bit in Europe and other countries and nations as well. But again, I can't give you, or I'm not really sure, the guaranteed lands that this was really distributed to, but what I know for sure is the first edition, first print run, this was the one released only in the United States of America. And keep in mind, both of these boxes released in extremely low numbers. Some say the first print run has actually had a higher print run in terms of quantity produced than the second print, but no one really knows. It seems to be at this point more people want the first print run cards simply because they're the first of the first, whereas the second print run is kind of the second run of the first edition. Both, though, United States, English, American English cards inside. One thing to note, though, with the first print run is there are several counterfeit boxes, fake boxes out there that were made all the way from China, I believe. And the second print run, there has been no confirmed fake runs of these boxes. What you really got to watch out for are these cards. There are some fake counterfeit cards that look just like the originals in the first print run, and with the sealed boxes and the packs, as you have seen in my other video. If you haven't, please check it out. There are some very good-looking fake counterfeit packs out there and cards. So stay alert if you are looking to buy first print, first edition. Second print, much less of an issue there. So, without further ado, now let's get into the cards, now that I kind of explained the heritage between the two. And again, I just want to reiterate, first edition, first print has really taken off and is holding a little bit more of a premium over the second print run. I'm looking and I'm seeing about a 10 to 20% increase in price for the first edition, first print, rather than the second print cards. Still, both very expensive, both very rare, both a treasure for any collector. So, let's take a look at some cards now. And this one is going to be Flame Swordsman. One of these is first print, one of these is second print. What's the big difference? Well, here is a second print. As you can see, the second print run, the foil is very prominent, and the first print run, the foil is much wavier, you could see. Let's look at the texture of the cards. That's the biggest difference between first and second print. Second print run, you have a very reflective texture. Look at this. It's almost like you're looking into a mirror or you're looking at glass. That's how reflective. The flash is your friend in this case when you're, differentiating between the two. First print run, much wavier texture, very gritty. I like to say gritty. I think gritty is the best way to describe first print run. You could see here the foil, very smooth, very prominent. First print run, very gritty, almost like it's the texture, it's like lines are kind of going through it. Now, that's not the case, as you could see, but if you notice, we're going to just take the flash here and just go second print run here. First print run here. You see that minor difference. There is that minor difference. First print run, think of it as gritty. Second print run, think of it as smooth as silk. So, now that we get that out of the way, again, first print run right here. Look at that gritty texture. Second print run, much smoother texture. Looking at the backs here, look about the same. Just aside from the texture, which you can't really see through a PSA case, the backs look about the same, so keep that in mind. Some say the first print run had a more reddish, darker back. I don't see it. I think the first and second print run are about the same in terms of the back and the texture. So now we're going to move on to a bunch of other Yu-Gi-Oh cards in first edition, and we're going to quiz you on which ones are first print and which ones are second print. So let me get those out now. Here's two dark holes. So let's take a look at these. Which one is first print and which one is second print? Let's take a look. As you can see the reflection on both. Let's look at that foil. Let's look at that texture. Which one is first print? Which one is second print? There's a nice shot of the left. And there's a nice shot of the right. So if you said the left is the first print, you are correct. Notice the wavy texture. And also, if you notice, the first print may have a little less foil pop to it, a little less color. And it looks just like an older card, whereas the second print, look at it looks almost like as smooth as butter. Very glassy finish to it, and the first print, that wavy grittiness to it right there. So let's take a look now at this trap hole. What is this one? Take a look. Is this trap hole first print or is it second print? Well, this one is first print, and this one is fairly easy to discern because you do have, again, very, very wavy texture. And there it is. You could really see it. See that waviness to it, the grittiness. That's first print. Let's take a look at 4 Celtic Guardians. So let's take a look at these two. Which one's first print? Which one's second print? Trick question on this one. Both of these are first print runs. Look at all that wave, that waviness. You really want to get the flash on it. You really want to get some good lighting. That way you can tell the difference between the two. Both very wavy, both first print runs. And how about these two Celtic Guardians? Which one's first print? Which one's second print, if any? Well, you could really see the difference here. First print run is on the left. The second print run on the right. Notice here, this is very, very glossy compared to the other 3 Celtic Guardians that we saw. That's the second print run on the right. The left is the first print run. We're going to take some more out here. How about these? Let's see what we got here. Polymerization, first or second print. Take a good look at it. Little tricky on this one, but this, if you said first print, you're good to go. It's a first print card. Curse of Dragon, first or second print. This one is also a first print. And Mystical Elf, first or second print. This one is a second print. Notice again the glossiness, the glossy texture. The more foil pop, but again, the big thing is that reflective, glossy texture. So that is the second print run. And now we're going to take a look at a couple more Magic cards. Raigeki. Is this one first or second print? And this one looks to be smooth as glass. If you guessed second print, you are correct for the Raigeki. and Monster Reborn. First or second print? Well, this one is a second print, so if you guessed second print, you are correct. And how about these two? Tri-Horn Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon. Check the Tri-Horn Dragon first. Well, if you guess first print for the Tri-Horn Dragon, you are 100% correct. That is a very grainy texture, extremely wavy, grainy texture right here. And the Blue Eyes. And the Blue Eyes is definitely a second print run Blue Eyes. You could really see the difference between the two. See that reflective surface and see that wavy surface. So there you go, guys. That should about do it. One other thing to note before we let you go is with the first print cards too, you'll notice that sometimes for ultra rares, the card text is a little bit lower toward the attribute level. See how it's kind of centered perfectly in the box here in the second print? Well, the first prints, a lot of them had a bit lower text. The text, the Blue Eyes would start sort of toward the bottom of this box here, this little box. Not 100% of the time, but typically, if you see an ultra rare where the ultra is a little bit lower, you're looking usually at a first print run card. I don't know why that was the case, but that's just kind of how they produced them. Usually, not always the case. Some are centered in first print, but most of them are a little bit lower. But nonetheless, that's another thing just to look for if you're looking for first or second prints to confirm or deny. But again, what you really want to look for is that surface. Look at that shiny surface for second print, and look at that gritty, wavy texture surface for the first print. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube signing out again. If this video helped you, hopefully I explained everything about the first and second print in this video. And hope you guys enjoy your day, your evening, your morning, your afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube signing out. If you loved this video, if it helped you, if it guided you in the right direction, feel free to contribute to Patreon. Anything is better than nothing. And of course, check out my Instagram at Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, eBay, Tim's Cards and Games. Thank you, everybody, for all of your viewership and comments and likes for this video. All right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube signing out. Hope it helps.